Hey everyone. So, I wanted to give you an update for today. Today was another court day with my mother and my brother. Let me rewind to last night first, though. So last night, my brother actually stayed over here because there was no one to take him to court in the morning. Because my mother is on vacation, not far away from here, probably like an hour away from here. She had no intention of going to the courthouse today, despite it being required. There were a lot of people who were required to go. I was not required to go, nor was my grandfather, because we weren't witnesses or victims to anything. But we went anyway. And my brother had to go because if he didn't go, they could have pretty much locked him up. And it was just an offense. But my mother was not going to go. And she called and left a message, apparently not actually even speaking with anyone, that she wasn't going to be able to make it, as well as my two other twin brothers that were on vacation with her. But apparently she didn't actually get a hold of anyone. She just left a message, so she just kind of assumed, I'm just not going to go. So that's why he stayed over here, so we could take him in the morning. So we did. My mother wasn't there. Well, actually, let me also talk about when he was over here last night. We played some games and everything. We got along just fine, pretty well. He's usually pretty calm and nice and everything when there's no one else here to kind of antagonize him or to bring him down. Like when he's over at my mother's house, he gets into arguments and fights with her, especially if my two other brothers are there, the twin brothers, because he's only 12 right now, and the twin brothers are 11, about to turn 12. Because he just feels neglected and abandoned by his mother. Because that's exactly what she does. She favors the twins versus him. Doesn't actually show him any kind of love. Says he should be put up for foster care. That she doesn't like him. She hates him. So that's why he has the problems that he does, like related to drugs and all this stuff. So anyway, we went to court today. Mother was not there. We said that she wasn't there. And we're just waiting and waiting for hours. And we finally get in. And I actually went in as well as my other grandfather who were not called in. We both went in because of my mother not being there. And the judge is just asking everyone to identify themselves and is talking with my brother about things. And then, she's like, asks him, why is your mother not here? He flat says, well, because she's on vacation. She didn't want to come. And she's like, where is she? And the place, he said, about, 45 minutes, an hour away. She chose not to come. Which is just inconveniencing everyone because she knew that nothing could be done unless she was there. That they couldn't continue on with things since she's the legal guardian of him. But that also makes her look bad. Again, which she already looks bad in front of a lot of those people already there. Since they already know so much information about her. Just all the nonsense and all the just crap that she does, because it was all told to her. You could just tell that the judge was definitely considering this a serious matter, because she was very concerned about how my brother's going to be getting to school, what school he's going to, because it's not even, my mother hasn't even signed him up for a different school. I mean, he's still going to be going to the same school he was going, but there's no transportation there from where he's living now, which is with his other grandmother on his father's side and one of her sons in a motel. You know, and that side of the family has a lot of drug-related problems, which my brother already has, so that's such a horrible environment as it is. And so there's no transportation, and the judge basically said, you know, right now, this child is dependent, and if there's no one here that can take him, you know, to a school, who can take him to make sure he gets to his court dates, then he's going to have to be put up for the social services to be able to find him a home that he will be able to. And my grandmother and my grandfather agreed, you know, like we can take him to and from school or to his court dates or whatever. You know, just like another inconvenience. Because it should be the mother that should be doing this. Driving to the motel that she put him in. Taking him to school. Taking off work early to pick him up. You know, this should be all her responsibility. This isn't my grandmother or my grandfather's responsibility. It's her responsibility, but she won't ever admit to that. But anyway, later she is going to enroll him in a school that the bus is actually going to pick him up there. So that shouldn't be a problem if that goes through. But I mean, it's so close to school time, so it's like last minute change to a new school here. But anyway, so yeah, you could just tell that everyone just had like a negative impression of my mother. Just like they just weren't. They could just tell that she just wasn't involved with anything, and that was definitely, it was definitely evident, but they didn't say it like outright. So, they were also trying to push for having her held accountable for not showing up to the court. You know, having some kind of I forget what they called it, but that never happened. But we just kind of played a little joke on her, and my brother sent her a text message saying that because she didn't show up, that that she has to do community service. And she texts back a little bit later saying, you know, that's a crap. I'm the victim here. Why should I be doing community service for just not showing up to this? And yeah, they're just kind of texting back and forth, just a bunch of nonsense. And then my mother actually spoke with my grandmother on the phone. You know, this is all during her vacation, okay? Because she couldn't be bothered to come. So my mother is saying, you know, my mother's saying, like, why do they do this? Why do they put me for this community service or whatever? You know, I'm a victim here. And my grandma was like, oh, that was just a prank. And she was like, what? It is? I made phone calls. So apparently she called someone at the courthouse, probably, and left a voicemail. Probably this nasty, hateful thing, like, why am I being put up for this community service when I didn't do anything wrong? So that's just kind of, it was immediate, because she didn't respond back immediately when that was said. So it's probably as soon as she got the text message, she called, and it's like, why am I doing this? Without even getting any kind of facts straight or realizing that it was just a joke. I mean, I wish it was community service. That just would have been amazing, but it wasn't. But it just makes her look foolish, which is just called. Oh my gosh! So we'll see what happens with that as well. Apparently the next court date. Oh yeah, that was something else. The drug and alcohol evaluation that my brother was supposed to have was supposed to be done before this court date. My mother, last week when we had court on Thursday, they wanted to set it up that afternoon or that the day after, but before she went on vacation. And she's like, no, I have to work. No one's gonna be able to. It's gonna be able to bring him. I mean, I can't bring him the following week because I'm on vacation. You know, just she can't put herself out for anyone. And here she is troubling the whole family for her own affairs that she should be involved in as well. But no, she's on vacation. So anyway, the next upcoming court date is actually like in a month and a half from now, in October. And it's on the same day that my mother is facing criminal charges in a different state for possession of marijuana and narcotics in a car. When she went to like this concert late at night, she was pulled over and there was a bunch of marijuana found and morphine and some other medications that she didn't have prescription for. Same exact day. And when my grandmother told her that, my mother was like, well, okay, well I'm not going to go to the other one, which is my brother. So she's not going to show up again. Second time, not going to show up. So that really is going to just prove what everyone has been saying to all the people who are working on this case, what kind of person she is. It's just all going to be proven right there. And the one thing that my brother is kind of upset about, because of the living situation he is in now, because he likes it there over my mother's, absolutely, and I'll get to that in just a minute, but a lot of the people there were kind of hinting at my grandparents filing for a legal guardianship of my brother, meaning that they can make all the legal decisions that where he can go to school, what he can what kind of evaluations and tests can be done, since that was something else my mother neglected, since she denied several evaluations be done on him, which could have helped this outcome, but she denied that. So that would grant my grandparents more control over the situation versus my mother. And my mother's going to be very upset with that. My brother's upset with that because it would mean that he can't live where he's living now with his other grandmother on his father's side in a motel with his other grandmother's son. And the problem with that is, let me first say the positive thing, okay? At my mother's house, he is neglected, he is shamed, he is told to lie. It's pretty much like, don't tell. He's not shown any kind of love or compassion. He's just hated and feels unwelcome there, because he is. He's being told he's hated, all this stuff. And there's no activity. You know, my mother just goes in a room, closes the door, the kids do their own thing. That's why he has the problems he does. He sneaks out and does the drugs, alcohol. At 12 years old, started when he was 11. So it's because he's bored. There's no activities. If there was activities, he wouldn't be into this stuff. And that's something to talk about at another time, because there's so many people, so many parents who are just so involved with themselves that they don't give their kid any attention. They don't monitor their kid. And the kid could be 12 years old like my brother is, but they would act like they're 16, 17, 18 years old. And that's just completely ridiculous. Like using the foul language, using drugs. It's like you're at the age you are doing those things, like the substance abuse. You know, you're going to encounter a lot of problems later on in life. You really are. It's going to. But I'm not getting into that right now. That's a topic for a later time. But anyway, So that is what's on my mother's end. On the other end here, he feels welcome. He's always shown attention by his other grandmother and his uncle. You know, they show him attention. They make him feel wanted there. I mean, that is why he likes it there. Problem is, the grandmother is an alcoholic, and the uncle is a drug dealer, drug addict. So that's the problems that my brother has. So you have two sets of places here, and both of them, you know, have different kinds of negative things, and it just doesn't work out for him, because everyone else, you know, that's just I don't know, but that's kind of what the problem is. And when we dropped him off at the motel, my other grandfather walked in to speak with the grandmother, which my brother's not staying with the grandmother. There's a separate room that the uncle is in, and he stays with him. But my grandfather walked into the grandmother's room to talk with her about what went on today, what's going on, saying that he can't get in any trouble, or they'll just lock him up because school's approaching, and he has to stay good for another month and a half, or he's going to get locked up. And when he came out, he said how just soon as he was just like, you know, that was a drunk woman. How she would, like, you could just smell just so much cigarette smoke in the house, in the motel room. How you could just smell like alcohol. She was just kind of a bit off, I guess. How she had like a glass of alcohol like right there. And, you know, my brother has a problem with that, and that's just like right there in front of him. I mean, he wasn't, as I said, he wasn't in that room. He was in the other room, which is right next door. It wasn't in it was like upstairs on a different side. But they moved it right down stairs, right next to the other room, the motel room. And when the uncle opened the door to let my brother in, it was pitch black in there. You couldn't see a single thing. And I was just like looking like, is there, what's going on there? It's just like pitch black. There's no light source whatsoever. You know, the curtains are completely closed. And just like, oh my gosh, they're probably just getting high all the time in there, doing all these drugs and everything. So it's just disgusting, the kind of environment. You know, if it wasn't for this atrocious of environment, like these drug and alcohol things, they would be the ideal kind of family for them that could take care of them, because they would be involved, they would care, and my grandmother and my grandfather care. They don't really mind raising him. It's just the problem is just the anger and the problems that he has. You know, you can't trust him with anything. He lies all the time. He steals. So you gotta work on a lot of that stuff first, which is why they have been pushing for some kind of facility for him to be in, to get the help he needs, to be able to kind of move out of there and be in an environment where he can be safe for a bit. So all my mother is doing is just, after my grandmother told her that the court is looking at her as like they don't have a good impression of her, how she should have showed up, and she's not taking responsibility for the child, which is pretty much all the things that they kind of said or alluded to. You know, my mother was like, oh, well, who told him this? It's because of, you know, me and my grandmother repeatedly reporting her to social services or whatever. And it's like, she just can't take the responsibility for anything. I mean, she never said thank you for taking him to court, because there was no one else to take him. She never said, I'm sorry that I couldn't be there, because she's not sorry for any of this. So, we'll see how this continues on from now. My grandma is going to try to get legal guardianship of all 3 kids. My mother's not gonna have any kind of decision making whatsoever now, because her judgment is just off. Because she just is, I don't know, she's just out there. It's all those drugs. It really is, because, you know, if you're just doing like the marijuana, you know, that's not going to have this big of an impact on your decision making, unless it's kind of like that's all you do, all you think about is just like, you know, I'm just going to forget my life, I'm just going to get high all the time, do this, and that is kind of how she kind of, she always goes to her friend's house and does it there, you know. But on top of that, she has a very addictive personality, so you got that on top. And then when you're mixing it in with antidepressants and other mood drugs and morphine or whatever else crap she's on, you know, some of those drug charges that she's being penalized for, I looked up, you know, marijuana and whatever this other drug was, and there were so many reports of people who had taken both and how it just messed up their mind, like they just couldn't properly think straight and just all this stuff. But they managed to get off the one or the other and be better. But you know, when my mother's actually taken both, I mean, her thinking is just so skewed. It just doesn't make any sense at all. So, you know, I think that is a big problem that she's not going to admit to. She doesn't see as how she has any problem at all. She's justified in every single thing. So, that was the day. I'm just so exhausted from all this family nonsense and drama. It's just, you know, it all stems from a mother who just doesn't care. If she cared, none of this would be a problem. But she doesn't care, so we're all burdened with, you know, just this whole family nonsense that she doesn't care about. So, yeah, that's been that. Thank you for listening to this. If I make any other update today, which I probably won't, to be honest, I'm just so tired. I'm ready to just go to bed for the night, and I just took a nap. So, yeah, I haven't updated the past few days. So, other than that, things are going pretty good for me. Today was pretty, you know, just kind of stressful. Got some work done, like I recorded a video, automated a video, which should be going up, like, maybe even tomorrow. Probably tomorrow, yeah. Maybe even tonight. Yeah, I doubt it. I don't know if I can do that. But yeah, I have other work to do, so I'll be doing that stuff, and I'll keep you all posted on that. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for everything you've done for me. I am very thankful. So, oh, see those 2 lovebirds back there? Oh, they're kissing. Alright, so I'm going to end it now, okay? I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.